Hi, Frank Maverick 2 here in Chicago, Illinois. I visited my brother, Ken Maverick, for his birthday, surprised him for his birthday. And he's 61 years old, but he's still in a high chair. But he's going to tell us some jokes. He does some funny jokes too. And we already have him on one DVD. This will be our second DVD together. So here he is. Ken Maverick, thank you.
Well, I was saying about the flip phone. They used to, initially they were extremely popular when they first came out. And in McHenry County here, they had a warehouse and they were making them like crazy, and then they couldn't sell them anymore. So they lost their popularity. They became a flip-flop. So now on the other hand, reports say that the new Samsung phones are really catching fire.
See, I have a flip phone, and it's my iPhone.
Well, I was grilling. I made some hamburgers the other day, and I was really proud of myself. I did it all by myself, and I was bragging about it. And other people were starting to say, "Well, it's not such an accomplishment." And I said, "Yeah, but I used this. I set it up all by myself. I used a 4-man grill, and I did it all by myself." So I was pretty proud. So I was shopping for light bulbs. I was with my wife at the store, and on the package of light bulbs it said like 200,000 hours or something like that. And I asked the salesman, I said, "Well, what is this 200,000 hours?" And he said, "Well, that's the life of the light." And so I think, well, here I am with my wife, the light of my life, and the package is the life of my life. And I thought that was appropriate. So I live in Chicago now. Went to the big star for the Chicago Bulls NBA basketball team. Prior to Michael Jordan, the biggest star was Bob Love. So I went to bobblehead night once, and they gave out these little statuettes of Bob Love, but his head didn't move. And I was crying like that. I guess maybe we should we're watching some kids today. One doesn't sound happy. I think we got a touch. Oh,
Cute.
Okay. So I said, "Hey, the bobblehead doll's head doesn't move," and they said, "Yeah, it's not supposed to." And I said, "Well, it's a bobblehead day," and they said, "Well, he was a bull, he was a Bob, it's Bob the Bull." So that's your Bob Bull head. Well, so then I was at the salad bar the other day, and I'm trying to they have these little beets in there, and they're kind of like slimy, and they have a spoon to pull them out with, and I'm trying, they're round, they keep turning, and I'm trying to get the beet, and it keeps moving away from me. And just that, in the restaurant, they were playing music, and the song came on by Gloria Estefan, "Turn the Beat Around." And I thought that was very appropriate. And it turns out that beets are good for your heart. Yeah, if you don't have any beets, the blood doesn't get pumped around. I was thinking of the DC Comics comic books with Superman and Batman, Aquaman, Flash. And then I was watching C-SPAN, and they had congressmen and senators on there in congressional hearings. And then I'm thinking, these are the other DC comics, the Washington DC comics, Congress.
Those kids are just screaming for more jokes.
So what I like in my coffee, if my coffee's fresh, is a little coffee mate, which is a creamer. Adds a little flavor. My wife likes that too. And then, but if the coffee gets really, really, really burned, what's most appropriate is something called cream mate. That's for really badly burned coffee. I remember when I was taking ice skating lessons as a youngster, and the instructor wasn't very good, and he would just tell me to go out and do a figure eight. and other people were saying, well, aren't you going to give more instructions? And he said, he'll figure it out. That's a bad figure skating coach. Now, Seattle, the city of Seattle, I think gets more rainfall, or it rains more often in Seattle than any other major city in the U.S. The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl the year before last. So until Denver won last year, Seattle appropriately was the reigning champion. Now, I remember I was taking in science in school, the teacher was saying that electrons flow because they're polar. And I said, well, teacher, we all know that. You look out at the electric poles. That's of course they're polar. That's where the electricity flows. Well, my daughter, when she was real little, we took her to the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had the piano of the author of our national anthem, Francis Scott Key. They had his piano there in the lobby, and we were doing something, and I didn't know it was Francis Scott Key's piano, but Jackie was in the baby carrier, and I set it down on top of the piano, and then temporarily, and then they had the March of the Ducks as an event there. So my wife and I enjoyed that. And then I picked up Jackie, and she needed a diaper change, so we changed her diaper. And then, so actually she's been tinkling on the baby grand for quite a few years. Now my brother and I went to Rockford, and we saw the floral clock there at his botanical garden place. And it's pretty big. They said that one of the hands is 12 inches long. And I'm thinking, well, actually, that's not a hand, that's a foot.
Now, the hands were made out of metal, and so we were putting the pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal, did the floral clock. That's good. Well, we plant a garden each year. My wife likes to put the lettuce and the cabbage in first. That way she gets a head start on the garden each year. Now, I really want you to think this through. In basketball, a reverse layup is actually a lay down. A reverse layup. And then I got a pedometer, and
Screaming for more.
I'm just going to say that a pedometer is something that really promotes physical fitness. Okay, that's all I got.